That up. Should be good. We got this Bronco here. We're doing the windshield in 50, 15 on the front doors, 20 over the factory on the rear, and should be a good time. If we did everything correct, I think we're okay. We got this, we got that. Headphones, let's just make sure that this is going to connect. And let's do it. We're going to go live on TikTok too. So once we get this kind of off the ground, I think we're working. Can you guys hear me? Everything okay with that? Okay, that's definitely working. Cool. Yeah, we're doing carbon on the Bronco. Good. Oh, audio. Check. They're not putting ceramic. No, we're doing carbon, which is still an awesome film. Where's my audio here? New capture device. Is my I think that should be okay. I think I was going to do something to slightly change it. I don't remember what that was now, though. I think I have to redo my audio in order to do that, so let's not mess it up. Anyway, let's get started. Good. Microphone's working. Sweet. This is actually my first Bronco. They seem... they seem really, really straightforward. So we're going to get started with front door classes. Yes, I do. I have classes once a month. 313tint.com has all the details on the next few classes that we're running. It's going to be the end of August for the next one right now. All right, I need my 15. I think that's in my plotter. I don't even like advertise 15, but 15's been like my most popular thing lately. It's one of those things that I bring up as we're talking about shades. If 20, because most people are 20, but if 20 isn't quite dark enough, or you're familiar with 15, that's when I bring up 15. Because it's not like that much different. So I've had it confuse people when they're trying to pick shades. Sometimes trying to pick shades for like 20 minutes. The inside seal is way low. I will keep that in mind. I'm going to cut these individually too. Go bring this to the other side. We got some time today. I also did a thing yesterday. You guys will see it in just a minute here. Look, you see that? You see that over there? I put together a board. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah, we good. Cool. So this has been something that I've been putting off for a very long time, mostly because there are no instructions for this, and I'm not super handy, but I have I have a board now, and look, it's me. So that's fun. And best part was it was not expensive. All right, let's flip this around. I'm going to use the flat edge on this one. How far down? Ford always likes to put their inner seals down. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's pretty standard for them. I don't know what it is about Ford, though, but they like to do that a lot. Oh. Shit. I got roller marks. I guess I gotta flip it back the other way. Or I gotta cut another piece. We'll find out. That should take care of it, though. Do you offer carbon plus ceramic? No, I do Pro Classic, C2, which is what we're installing now, and then I jump straight to Pro Nano. Carbon Plus is a good film. It's just like a solid alternative to Pro Nano. It doesn't have quite the same amount of heat rejection, and that's why I've still stuck with the Pro Nano. It really came about during a pandemic with supply chain issues, just to make sure they had like a really solid backup in case like Pro Nano just wasn't available. But it's not all that much different from it. It just is a little different. Very good film. I just like everything. I like to put it on my car. So when they announced it, I was pretty geeked about it. Really good IR numbers. Put it on the car. And like, it is good. It's just not quite as good. Need help with, uh-oh. Uh-oh. What car? Let me pull this up here. Ooh, a 98 CRV. Keep getting light gaps. There's nothing I can tell you on this one that's gonna help you out with that. A 98 CRV is not a super fun car to do, though. That back window's got so much in the way with like the wipers and stuff. You get the wiper, you get the hardware that like props up the back window. Similar to this, except they design them now so the hardware doesn't really get in the way anymore. Used to be a big pain. All right, let's line this up, tack it back down. This one makes me feel short. I should get a stool. If you were to start with the tools and knowledge you have now, what would you purchase? What film would you do? Dude, I'd be using what I use now because that's what I'm using. I mean, that's really like what you're seeing. So 313tint.com, that has basically all the tools that I use because I like them. There's a reason why everything is on that store. It's basically just like a curated list of everything that I like. And then same thing for Geo. It's like, I think they've got best film on the market. So I'm more than happy to use them. Good. Good. Clean. All right, let's get this guy. Do you think some type of contamination is normal in any tint job? Oh, yeah, for sure. Everybody will tell you that too. Nobody will show it. For good reason, though. It's one of those things that, like, you're always going to be able to find something in a job that you're, like, you know, if you nitpick it to death, you'll be able to find, like, a few speckles or something. But it should never be anything major. And there's a couple little levels to that. You know, when you're newer, obviously there's going to be things that you probably don't even notice. And it's just hard to get a perfect result or a super good one. But like when you're newer, you just got to kind of power through it. Learn whatever you can off the car, what you're doing, get better on the next one. And know that not everybody sees what you see. So it's really easy to notice like big clumps of dirt and big creases and stuff like that. So you want to avoid those, but there's like a threshold there where it's like, it's got like a little bit of dirt. You might notice that. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody bring a car back in the past. Like this is when we tinted for other accounts and stuff. So when you're tinting a whole bunch of cars in a day, stuff's gonna happen. And then you would see something you would see something that you're like, oh, that's probably the issue that they have with the car. And then they take you over somewhere else completely different and point something that you're like, oh, that? Oh, okay. It's just everybody sees something a little bit different. But yeah, it's very normal. You just try and make them as perfect as you possibly can. Shrinking Geo is way faster than Lexan. I don't make this shit up. It's one of those things. I call it as I see it. When it's a good thing, it's good. When it's not, it's not. It's not that you can't shrink that film fast. It's that when you're new, it's not going to be easy. I'm still like a little wide on this pattern. How did that happen? These are really rounded. All right, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit more. Have you heard of Edge? Yeah. I haven't used them. They're Autobahn's open brand. So if you're not a big shop, you're probably not going to be able to get Autobahn, but anybody can carry Edge, and that's basically like their way of having being able to sell film to more people. Where like Autobahn is a little bit more of a protected one. We're gonna trim this a little bit more. I think this should be a little better. It's like frameless on all sides. They're not bad, they're just a little finicky. All right, chill car. There we go. One more. We're gonna shrink this puppy. We're gonna see how it fits. Probably have to round the corner just a little bit more. But let's get this guy shrunk. Line that up. I'm trying to get my tint business going. I have a shop. What's the best advice that you can give? It's a tricky one. Make sure that you have a really good business website, for one. It might be worth paying a company to set up some ads for you. So between having a really nice business website that actually like helps explain your services, what you do, show good examples, and probably even behind the scenes stuff now so people can get more familiar with your shop. That's a big one. And then you funnel a lot of traffic over to your website. Probably the quickest way to go from like zero. Go from like zero to staying busy. Social media is still good. Like post on Facebook, post on TikTok. TikTok Live is really, really good. But those things honestly aren't going to be as effective as just like paying for traffic. But you need to like funnel people over and sell them. So that's where you're going to have a nice clean website, you're going to look really professional, and you're going to have your website geared in a way that helps explain your services really well. It's a numbers game. The more people that you drive, the more business that you're going to have. This isn't open any more than that. This one's a little angled. I don't know where to put this. Maybe about there. What's your opinion on mobile tinting? I don't like mobile. I think there's too much cost there. My favorite way of doing mobile was tinting for other companies. That way I knew I had business coming in and I didn't have to run around to 50 different places in one day. Because by the time you have to handle everything. You have to talk to a customer, you have to figure out where you're gonna tint it, you have to set up, you have to tint the car, you have to take a payment, you have to give them an invoice or email or whatever, cash out, and then if there's any problems with at work, you gotta then come back to their house and fix it. When you're tinting for other companies, you can knock out a lot more cars, and if there's a problem with a job, they're coming back to the shop, so you're already there. You set up a handful of different accounts throughout the week that you rotate through, and it's a good way to make a great income without running yourself too crazy. So it's like you're trying to solve, it's just too many problems that you have to solve. Like when somebody calls you when you're mobile, do you have a garage? Does it have heat in the wintertime? Can I open the doors? And like, there's already a lot of people that just flat out don't have a garage with space in it. So you already like cut off your potential by a lot, where like you're not tinting for people that have an apartment. So I think at the very least, like you need some type of a home space that you can go to, and whether that be like other people's shops, it's like somewhere that you can go to for a day or half a day and make some money. What's the best way to figure out what to charge dealership? Charge dealership the same as you charge retail. Not unless they bring you like a significant amount of work and they earn it. There's no reason to give them a big break. Generally, dealerships are more of a pain in the ass because they don't care about selling your work. They just want to take care of their customer. So like, you know, they're adding things that are a few $1,000s onto a tint job. They'll take your couple $100 tint job and they'll tack it onto a bill for $1,000. So they're making their money. Don't worry about that. So charge them at the very least retail. So they'll get theirs. And then cut off dealerships when they're wasting your time. A lot of them, they're just like, they're too busy. They're trying to sell cars. They have quotas to meet. They have a million other issues to worry about. You are not one of them. Because like, here's the thing. A lot of, there's like all these things that you guys can do to try and like save some money on your business by like staying mobile where it's like, okay, I don't have any fixed monthly rent. I get that. But there's also a cost on how many you can even do in a day. And when you have to run around, that's generally like 3 max. So then when you're charging $150 running around for 3 cars max, you don't have much room to actually grow your business. You're like, it's then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, how do you get into building? Buildings are like way expensive. But if you can stay in one spot, then you can do more work, make more money, and it's like you still have the cost of gas, your van, to like cart shit around. Although I used an Explorer. I was fine in my Explorer, but I was doing mobile for other shops. I carried 1 line of film, sometimes 2 if they bugged us. Like we wanted to carry more and then they just wouldn't sell it, and then every once in a while they would bug us about it. Why did that tack up right then? Hang on. Oh, now it wants to move. So I don't know. Sometimes just like plan out your business a little bit. See like best case scenario where your numbers line up. And it might be really good compared to like where you are now. So you can leave some room for doing like pure mobile. You can leave some room for tinting for other companies and just figure out like a nice balance in between the two while you're figuring out your business. You don't have to go like 100% in any direction. Like when I opened up this shop, I was not here all day every day. I didn't have enough customers to keep me busy enough, but I had a skill and I put it to work. I would still do mobile for other companies, and I set my own shop up like I set up a mobile account. So I gave myself a couple days a week. I would fill up those days, and as soon as I started filling up those days like consistently, I then gave myself another day, took it away from my mobile accounts, and then I focused on filling that day up next. And then at some point, it got busy enough where I could then completely jump away from being mobile to then being in a shop. 1 foot in one door, 1 foot in another door, and just focus on trying to keep yourself busy until you get too busy. Let's see. How'd this sucker turn out? Pretty good. I just got that corner. I'm gonna round it a little more once this thing's dried out, and then we'll go to the other side for now. Sweet. I keep having little bubbles in my tint. What could that be if I clean the glass? That is going to be dirt, most likely. Dirt can come from anywhere. Most of your problems aren't cleaning, it's installing. Yeah, we can pull this down a little more. Oh, I got roller pinch marks here too. All right, let me flip this around just like we did on the other side. Really slow this week. Yeah, I mean, you have back to school stuff for sure. And that's just, I've seen that time and time again, where it gets busy, it gets slow, it gets busy, it gets slow. That makes this whole business, you know, any business challenging. Is like, cars like to come in herds, and so when it's busy, take advantage of it. When it's slow, don't sit around. That's when you focus on other things that you can be doing, whether that be creative advertising. Usually creative advertising or paying for ads and like teaching yourself another skill set for your business, like not necessarily another service to add on, but something that's helpful, something that you can work on, because when it's slow, that's when you do that kind of stuff. When it gets busy, all of a sudden you're like, ah, shit, I don't have time to work on my website. But you can always make everything better. So find something in your business and make it better. I mean, I wasn't exactly slow. I put this together last night, but like I didn't have a peel board, and I did a lot of research on ways that we can make a less expensive peel board and something that anybody can put together. And so far, that thing is friggin' sweet. There's a couple things I want to change about it, but I'm gonna put together another one with what I learned from that one, and we'll go from there. I did that. I'm trying to make a squeegee blade, which should be fun too. I don't know. I'm just like learning different stuff. It's always something creative that you can do. Take that off, take that off. How much is this one? $5.50. We're doing carbon on everything with the windshield. Okay, so we're gonna cut this one. Tear that away. Something like that. Super chat. Justin. Justin, thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate that. Thanks, buddy. Oh my god, do I get to use my peel board now? Let's see if this thing works. It's so funny that it's a mirror. Nice. How do you make a mirror less mirror? That's my only question. The size of it's actually really good. Being a mirror, I'd say is a little bit annoying, but I have no problems cutting. I just gotta get used to it. Cool. Then we got this guy. Yeah, this one will still be up. There we go. That's better. Yeah, the whole seeing double thing is definitely a little weird. But, shit, I'm getting tangled. What do these Broncos go for? I mean, I know what I charge for it. But it's pretty in line with everything else. You use text-to-speech? Yeah. Right, let's shrink this thing. Okay, where's my other one? It's probably on the other side. Oh, we'll use more of this, that's fine. Would you swap the Blazer for Bronco? You know, I thought I had to. I think they're pretty cool. The full-blown Blazer, like this is the two-door. I was shopping in the Blazer, or sorry, the Bronco Sport category, just because prices were crazy on everything. So I wasn't even looking at like a full-size Bronco. But I ended up swapping the Blazer. That lease is up. 3 years goes by real quick. And I have a Model 3 now. But I buy a car, obviously, like for the shop. So it's like part videos and a big sales tool. So like I don't need a super high trim. I just need something that looks nice. And anything that I was shopping around for and like a nicer trim was gonna be like minimum $3K down, $650 a month for stuff that I wasn't really like, woo, this is cool. On a lease. And that's where I'm like, ugh, I don't know. But I kept looking around, saw a headline, Tesla dropped prices again. They've done it like 7 or 8 times this year now. And Model 3 is actually cheaper to lease than anything else, and it is way cooler than anything else in that price range. So sign me up. So that was cool. So I got one of those now. We have an Explorer as like our main family vehicle, but I only need to drive back and forth between home and like I scoot that thing around for like errands and stuff. I like it a lot for all of that. It's like a little golf cart. A quick golf cart. And most of my customers are like, whoa, you got a Model 3? Or you got a Tesla? It's like, yeah. And it was cheaper. Everybody thinks I'm like way fancy now because I have a Model 3. Like some of my like older customers that get another vehicle, they're like, dang, you must be doing really good. You got a Model 3 now. It's like, well, actually, remember that Blazer? Yeah, this is cheaper than that. They're like, shut the fuck up. No, it's not. And they're all like, I'm gonna go get one now too. That's my favorite thing to tell people though, because I'm in like Club Tesla, and it's like, yeah, it's cheaper than what I was paying. Nobody really cared about the Blazer. You tell them a Tesla, and they're like, whoa! But it's just funny. Ooh, a little bit far. Pull it close. I have this just a little bit slicker than I need, so I need this to tack up without drifting too much. Is your tint school recommended for somebody that's never been tinted before? You can, and we definitely have people that take the class without never tinting before, and no matter what, you're gonna learn a ton. It's really an accelerator. So if you haven't been tinting before, you will learn a bunch. You'll have a good foundation. You'll still need a lot of practice. If you've been tinting for a month, you'll honestly, like, even a month of practice on like your own car and stuff, you're gonna be way better off. So I would highly suggest get some film, get some tools, and just do some like personal practice. That way you know you, like, even if you like it or not. It looks one way, and then you start doing it, and then you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize this is what it's actually like. So just get some film, get some tools, try it, see how you like it, and then take a class after that. But you absolutely could sign up without ever touching film before. I just find people are way better off if they like got their feet wet with it. Because then we're already kind of on the same page. It's like you understand what you're trying to do, and we'll just do a couple things, and then next thing you'll be like, oh, that's how it goes. It's all these like little things. They happen all the time. And I try and point a lot of them out. But there's all these little things, all these little steps that you kind of have to like follow and make sure you get right. And then everything starts clicking into place a lot faster. Ooh. What size roll do you recommend for rear glass? I like 36s. I think 36s are great. Cool. What do you think? I get around the corners a little bit more. You probably can't see it even, but I gotta just round the corner a little bit more. I'm gonna let that dry before I do that. And I guess in the meantime, I don't know, I got this big old windshield that I can start working on. Yeah, I just had a phone call this morning from somebody that took the class. He's in the area. And he's just said how helpful it was. So that's really cool. Gives me a lot more confidence. So like I've done more classes, but I started the in-person ones here last year, and we've ran a bunch of them. And so like kind of fast forward a year from where we were. And it's really cool to see how helpful they can actually be. So it's pretty consistent. I'm getting a ladder for this one. Little bench. This will be fun. I think it's going to be shorter than the doors. That should be good. Yeah, these bench things are definitely handy. Very handy to have. So now I can actually like lean over here. It's got some bird poop we gotta take care of. Hang on one sec. Where's my roll? Oh, it's here. Am I really down to, hey, can I get a roll of glass aid? Thank you. Yeah, TV is fine to practice with. Honestly, like any cheap dyed film is fairly decent to practice with. Films are just made a handful of different ways. So, like, carbon is really an alternative to dye in terms of just like the entire manufacturing process. It's another way of making window film that takes all the dyes out of it. So a nice byproduct of that is it shouldn't fade ever. What the hell? It shouldn't fade because there's nothing to fade. And also carbon blocks out some additional heat. So it's kind of like a nice byproduct of carbon. All right, let's get this situated right there. I'll jump over on the other side. I have to see where my cutout is. Oh, that's kind of funny. I don't have a defined cutout area. That's why I'm having a problem with it. All right, well, we'll make one. I gotta go get the other bench. Oh, but what I was saying about carbon, though, why I went off on a rant about it. Carbon's a good film, but the bad thing about it is that cheaper ones don't shrink near as well. So while you can still find really cheap carbon and ceramic films on the market, they're not going to be as good, and they just don't shrink as nice. Whereas a cheap dyed film shrinks great. There's no problems there. So, carbon films really took over in popularity because they block out additional heat, and they're also like similarly priced to cheap dyed films as well. But T-View is going to be a dyed film, and that's why I recommend that stuff for practice as a way to keep the price down and also get like a fairly reliable film for shrinking, where a lot of people jump on like the Lexan train, or not get it, but it's not as shrinking friendly, so you're gonna have a harder time. It's not that it doesn't shrink okay, it's just annoying. So like when carbon films came out, they were all like difficult to shrink. They've gotten a lot better, and the clarity's gotten a lot better. But you still have cheap ones, and you have expensive ones. There's a reason why it costs what it costs. All right, let's jump back over there. It's just an awkward one, because you got this big old hood, and it's stubby, so everything's just like face straight up. Does the percentage of window tint regulate the amount of heat coming through? With carbon, it impacts it, yeah. But ceramic, no. So like with carbon, no matter what, you're blocking out some additional heat. But when it comes to the darker shades, you're blocking out a little bit more heat. Okay, so this guy right here is where I have to go straight across instead. I'm gonna put that line right there, and we're gonna go up right here. That's where my cutout is on the inside. Thoughts on Tint Zoom? I've actually heard good things about their kits, so you'll be good at ordering a kit from them. They actually have GeoShield films too. Yeah, dyed across the board doesn't block out much heat at all. When you block out some like visible light, you block out a little bit of heat, but it's pretty minimal. You basically don't feel much of a difference. But with any film, the darker you go, like if you do a 20%, it's gonna be like there's less glare, so it's gonna be a little bit more comfortable to drive with. So you have those things to consider too. Dropping that makes it anything a little bit better, but yeah, in terms of like what you feel, you'll feel the heat just go straight through that film. Does the what kind of tint is T-View? Oh, yep. T-View is a dyed film. All right, so we're gonna do 50% on this windshield. I'm gonna let that dry for half a second, and then I gotta get my 20, and we're gonna do 20 on the rest. So this is my 15. Put this back in the box. I was gonna buy pre-cuts from Tint Zoom rather than 2 longer rolls. Yeah, that'll definitely take the cost per, or like the overall the overall cost down, and you don't have to learn how to cut. But it's still tough to learn how to shrink and all that, so that's where the bulk rolls come in really handy, is like you cut everything to size, but you have room to make mistakes too. And we'll clamp that down. It's 51. Plotter blade over. What state? Oh, I'm in Michigan. The Detroit area, because it's the Detroit Tint Studio. You can't even see it. It's over there. All right, so we're gonna fire up film cut here. What's your best advice for tinting at a shop with no previous experience? Some shops will just hire you. They might teach you how to like prep and do all the unfun work in the beginning, which is gonna be like prepping and stuff like that. I would just go to one of them, talk to the store owners, and see what they say. They're all small businesses, so if you like, you never know. We're in the middle of the summer. It's the best time to like ask. Sometimes you can just get your foot in the door that way. It's hard to hire people, so if you're like eager to learn, you're ambitious, then you have a halfway decent shot. But there's no like, oh, 2-door, there it is, okay. But there's no like set roadmap for any of this, and that's what makes it a little difficult. The other thing too is get some film, get some tools, and practice on your own car. I'm getting the rear quarters here. Are there any differences? No? Okay. But I'm getting the rear quarters. We'll cut these out while the windshield's drying. Good. Good. I hope. I hope it's good. I think I have to fiddle with my rollers a little bit. I did a thing where I like filed down the bottoms of the rollers, and it seems to be having a little issue. So I have to kind of walk it out a little bit just to be sure. Oh, it just cut all the way through. No, please don't screw up. Oh, we're so close. Oh my God, we did it. It cut through in a couple of spots. It's goofy how that keeps happening. I keep adjusting my settings lower and it's fine. And then I have to like adjust them lower again. Kind of weird. I don't get it, but I'll keep fiddling with it. Let's cut this off. Oh my God, I can put this on an actual board. Fantastic. One sec, I need more hands. I can cut by hand, but when I start cutting my edges, what? I can cut by hand, but when I start cutting my edges, a big chunk comes out when I start cutting and it looks bad. Been able to install Walmart tint, so I think I can manage with a pre-cut. Oh, okay, well that's good. There's probably like a really simple reason why you're getting a chunk. Generally, like, people put too much blade out on their knife holder. So when you're starting your cut, if you're like cutting the side edges and you're causing gouges and stuff like that, this is the amount of blade that you need. Just like a, I'll move out of the way so maybe that focuses. But just a little bit. A lot of people will put like this amount of blade out when they go to make a cut. Your blade holder is gonna help pinch the tint wherever you're making a cut for like your side edges and stuff. So you don't need very much blade out when you make those cuts. I don't think my film is pressed flat enough. Yeah, that could be too. You want to like pinch it in right into that seal when you're making the cut. Like pinch it in hard and then start that cut and you won't have a gouge. That's crazy. It all just like tore away. Okay, so one of these is for one side. Look at that, that cut through all the way. It's not good, we don't want to see that, but patterns are great. My God, now we can do stuff like shrinking on the boards. You guys ever see that? You ever see like shrinking tint on the glass board? I gotta figure out which side is which though first. They're like shockingly similar. Is 1.5 mil good? Yeah, most professional films are going to be 1.5 mil. I believe this is the right one in the right direction. So this would be the other one. Okay. It doesn't really matter which side we shrink. We really don't have to shrink this one at all, but I like to a little bit anyways, just in case. So you're going to shrink these on a board the exact same way that you're going to shrink it on a door. So same thing. You just pull it away, heat that very bottom edge. Tighten it up a little bit. There you go. Same thing. Same snap, just on like a flat surface. But you're getting that exact same curve as if it were on the window. So let's go throw it on the window. I just don't know if I shrunk the top or the bottom. I think I shrunk the top. That's better. That's fine. Either way, do the same thing. Cool. So to recap, it's kind of funny having a mirror. Throw this on. Just the bottom. Heat gun. Ta-da! Just a little bit. We can even leave that there. That's what that border's for. Okay, now we got this stuff. We gotta climb in here and handle that window. Let's throw down a towel. I was planning on going on live on TikTok, but I still have yet to do that. That's why I have 2 microphones. I don't know why. I just haven't. YouTube's more peaceful. YouTube's way more peaceful than TikTok. TikTok is like friggin' wild. Kind of an awkward car. Yeah. A little bit. How long does a felt card last? Oh, pretty much indefinitely. I think the more you use them, honestly, the better they start to get. All right. No, I cannot. One more. makes sense. You're nervous of creasing the film? You gotta not be nervous. What I would do is take one piece of film. I would take a car that's safe to cut on, so like your own. And what I would do is I would cut that out, that edge. I'd practice it a bunch of times in a row. Just on one piece of film. Make a cut, slide it over, make a cut, slide it over, and then just keep repeating that until you get it right a bunch of times in a row. You don't want to keep going through like all the steps just to get back to where you kind of make a mistake. And then when you do that, you'll understand what you're doing. You'll get a lot of confidence in doing it really quickly. That's how you really, really speed up. There we go. Da, 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 da. Good, good, good. I think this pattern's a little bit tall. I don't know why. Ooh, we got it. There was a super chat, one sec. It's a few millimeters too tall. Yeah, I see that. You have to get it like exact. So I'm gonna trim this one on the other side before I even install it just a little bit. How is it on the back window? Back window can be oversized. That should be okay, just as long as it is. But this kind of stuff gets a little annoying with patterns. You never know until you like get it up there, and then you're like, what? I'm used to them being too short, not too wide. That. There we go. Much better. All right, cool. Let's go fix the other side. Yeah, it's definitely goofy. Oh, the defroster squares? Oh boy, that's fun. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna pull up my live stream on here. And then, nope, we're not gonna do that. There. Now I got chat. Well, that's helpful. Oh, Robert with the 10, thank you. What's your favorite 70% GeoShield to use? Do they have it in Apex? Honestly, the only 70 that I have is Pro Nano, so that's always been it. but I know now they have, I think Carbon Plus 75 and Apex 75 too. So I haven't used Apex 75 yet. So for now, I'm going to say Pro Nano, but I'm sure Apex will be the next one. So I'm still Pro Nano. Like so don't get me wrong, Apex is a better film for heat, and it looks really good too. Like it's definitely like checks all the boxes there. But it's more expensive too. So if every customer was getting ceramic, then I would consider bringing an Apex above it, and like I still can. And I've talked about it before, but most of my customers, they get to that point. It's like 7 with everything with a windshield. And so generally top out right around there. Because with Apex, it would probably be more along the lines of like 1,000. Maybe not quite that high, but that's kind of like what I'm thinking. So I really appreciate it, but I'm also in Michigan, and I go based on what I hear from my clients. It's like the bigger conversation is just the differences between any of them. When you talk about carbon or ceramic, it's like people come in just asking for a tint job. That's where we start. Why is this now black screen? Oh, cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah, people come in asking for just like window tint, and some of them have heard carbon and ceramic, and we'll have those appointments scheduled ahead of time like that. But just in general, it's like the average person does not know the difference. They didn't even know there were different types of films to pick from. They have just thought there were different shades. And that's fine. So in Michigan, when you say like, oh, the biggest difference between any of them is going to be the heat that it blocks, well, then it's like, some people just don't care. And like, that's fine. They don't need to. That's why we have the different options. So. I put Apex on my 2001 CRV. I like it. I would too. I put it on the windshield of the Altima when I was doing a lot of testing. But I have it sitting on my Model 3 right now, and I have it on my Explorer too. So part of it's a little bit of testing for me at this point, but it's definitely a solid film that I'm really confident in selling. It's just, price point's really high on that one. So for those of you that don't know any difference, like, hey, what's the difference between that ceramic and this other ceramic? Pro Nano is going to be a single layer of ceramic, where Apex is a dual layer of ceramic. So you're just getting double the performance, but in an upper tier where Pro Nano is already blocking out a ton of heat. And so Apex is going to block out additional heat, but the amount of heat that's still getting through isn't going to be like super dramatic anyways. So that's where you're going to weigh those, like, does it really matter? Do I want to spend this much more and get this little performance? That's what happens when you're on like the bleeding edge of stuff. It's like that with so many things. And for some people, yeah, give me the best you got. And for others, not so much. This one's got such an overhang with this top part. I'll just squeeze this in here real quick. Exterior tint? No, we were talking about just Apex versus Pro Nano. Those are both ceramics. Well, this is definitely going to get redone. And it is long. Oh my God. That one was like super long on the sides and the bottom. And this doesn't give me near as much room as the other one did, where it pinches right here and it pinches right there. And then also it lined up pretty okay on the side with the pattern that I had. So then the whole thing was basically just then a little bit shy now. So way different. Way different on this side than it was the other side. So that's fun. That's so fun. I love Jeep things. So we're gonna recut this out. I use Expel, unfamiliar with these names. Yeah, I can understand that. I like the little squeegee stickers. Thank you. I knew they were awesome. My wife made those. I need to get her to make more. She like took all the tint tools and made a ton of like little squeegee stickers, and we don't have any more right now. But I really liked throwing them in the packages. That was pretty great. But yeah, those are like the actual tools we have on the site. We just made them in small. Is Expel Korean? No. No, Expel's a big film company. Primarily, let's just set that here. Okay, I'm just gonna go with one. They started with paint protection film. But yeah, they do, they sell window tint now. They have for a while. So what do I do on this one? Do I plotter cut it again and risk disaster, or do I hand cut this thing? Where's my stool? Oh, if you're just installing on one car, yeah, then you don't need longer rolls. I get that. I always think there's a lot of opportunity. It's like you get friends and family all of a sudden like, oh, you tinted your car, you want to tint mine? And then that's how a lot of these businesses even start. Like I was just having fun. Next thing I know, friends and family, and now I'm making more money than my full-time job. All right, so I'm still gonna need a piece. I'm gonna cut out the back window. gonna cut out the back window. I'm gonna take what's left of that extra piece, and then I'm gonna hand cut that. I'm on a 40 right now. It's kind of annoying. All right, let's get this set up. Oh, pattern. I gotta adjust this, don't I? Plotter, that's a like 50 something inch. You just need a 40-inch plotter and above. Okay, so somebody said these center caps are a little bit big, so I might be able to make these a little bit smaller where they are. No, I gotta what? Can I zoom in? Guess I could delete them, hand cut them on the inside. I'll just cut them as is. Let's go for it. Right rear quarter, so that's gonna be this guy. Yep, that's perfect. So we'll leave that out. We're gonna cut this out. Is Graphtec the best plotter out of all plotters? No, not necessarily. They are like really good machines. But plotters have gotten like so competitive lately that the features, like Graphtecs were pretty much like the only option, like Graphtecs and Rollins. There weren't any other options other than that. Oh, you fucker. Still, 48. And it's still cutting through all the way. That's not fun. We're having a good old day today. Where's my line? Good. Still good. It bunched up that cutout part. Why are you holding the film on the plotter? Because I don't want the rest of it cut out yet. I'm going to push that over onto the other one. And I'm also used to not having a cut board right now. Did business slow down? For a minute there, but it's picked back up. I got a booked out schedule again for like another week. But yeah, it did slow down for a little bit, but this past week too, I had the class. So I've got plenty of other stuff to keep me busy. You're gonna hear a lot of like back to school stuff, which is true. Back to school vacations and stuff, it always slows down right around this time. But just in general, like this business is always up and down. So this might scare some people, but like it's never completely predictable. You're just gonna have weeks that are really busy and weeks that are gonna be really slow. Yeah, we used a mirror for a glass board. It was kind of one of those things where I was wondering if we could. And turns out we can. Anybody want to guess how much the board costs? That was the most surprising thing. That's why I ended up doing it. This shirt, and this microphone. Okay, I'll say it was new. It was brand new. Not off a marketplace. Free 99. You guys are just memeing. It was, I think, just under 90 from Lowe's. 36 by 60. So basically, like that whole glassboard setup. Once I refine, like I just ended up buying a little bit more than I needed in a couple different styles. I think I can bring that cost down, but it was, for that whole setup, was I think a little over 300. And I'm pretty sure I could do it for probably 250 all in with the glass, which is just kind of crazy. So that thing's way easy to like put together and everything. So I like it. It's a cool option. I mean, unless you're handy and you want to like cut something out of wood and put it all together and whatnot. I'm not. So I figured that one out. Mine rolls. Yeah, I'm waiting for wheels. I was already supposed to have wheels. So mine should roll. I just don't have the wheels yet. Everything was bought on Amazon, and I had to make 2 cuts with a hacksaw. That's it. So, I don't know. I'm pretty proud of that. I know Expel's got a frame for $700 that they sell. It's probably more sturdy than that thing right now. But, like, there just aren't any good options. Yeah, I'll make a post in my Facebook group about it. So just all those little things. I just didn't even know, like, hey, is this gonna actually be sturdy enough or whatnot? But I saw a handful of the boards popping up, but they all seem to be Expel's frame kit. Oh, the frame would absolutely work with glass. The mirror is glass. Like, so it's a 1/4 inch thick. It's literally the same as a piece of glass. It's just a mirror instead. So if you want to take off the shininess, then you're going to buy a mirror, or you're going to buy a piece of glass. And that size piece of glass cut brand new, it's usually in the range of like $400. So like all in, to be like under that, with the glass is pretty friggin' nice. Mike Norton. Yeah. Yeah, he was like one of the only people that was selling a frame. And then you still have to buy the glass, which, like, I get it. You're not shipping that. So I just wanted to see some other options. So, like, I'm not, like, super stoked on the mirror after using it for a little bit, but it does work, like, perfectly fine. It's just a little funky to have that depth. But there isn't a lot of information. Like, there's a little bit on frames and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty scattered information. So I want to put together a build guide once I kind of, like, figure this out a little bit better. Daniel Reyna. Thank you. Thank you so much for the 10. Good business opportunity if you want to be self-employed. Made 90K last year. Nice job, man. Thank you so much for the 10. It's nice to see you again. I hope things have been well. All right, let's go. And up. Slide over. All right, let's see. Do we butcher this? Is it too big? A little bit. That's not good. I think we got it. I wasn't sure that was gonna work. Yeah, that rubber, it pushes like straight in. But like on the other side, I had space and then it just like completely cut my pattern wrong. This one, I have like a rubber trim that's pushing right in on my seal the whole way around. And it gets really tight in a couple of spots. So that's annoying. But we should be good now. Sweet. Let that dry some. Rinse out the rest of the water. We should be good. Ooh. We got a back window, we got a windshield. Back window should be pretty straightforward. Most tedious part about this one is just the cut. So let's lower this. See if we can lower it. There we go. Stir. There we go. Very dirty. There's always a lot of dust that builds up on these. So what? I got plenty of room in here. And I don't have any room out there. I think I'm going to try and just snap it on the board. See how this goes. This will probably be fine. As long as all the cuts line up, I have more than enough space on the inside, but what I don't have is space on the outside. So all the hardware is kind of big and chunky. But it's not a very curved piece of glass anyways. So I'm hoping that we can basically snap it, get a similar curve, and then finish it up on the inside if we need to. Yeah, don't press too hard on that. All right, let's see. See what that does. That's a big old, I think. And then we'll learn. We will learn. Scrubby. This is kind of weird too. This was already like broken off here. So I don't know why, but that was just hanging there. The rest of it was fine. That was just unclipped. But looks like an easy fix. Just change out a little plastic part and you'd be fine. Is Film Cut good? Film Cut overall is a good piece of software. You'll get pretty decent cuts overall, but it's not perfect. None of them are. So I think it's the best software for your money. One of these days I'll get around to trying Core. But they're all going to be minimum of like $150 a month. Like Film Cut's the cheapest. But the thing is, like, more expensive software doesn't necessarily make it better. So Core is a good bet to look into. Also, Computer Cut by SolarGuard. That's going to be the other good one to look into. I think Core for window film is $150 a month, so it's a pretty good value for now, until they inevitably change something, which I know they will. It's a Eastman Lumar product. They'll change it. Film and vinyl design? Maybe I needed to adjust the setting, but I never liked them. Unfortunately. This was like before I was even using the plotter that I'm using now. It was on a graph tech at Rick's shop, and oh my god, I don't know what it was. Everything on the doors was like wrong. So we didn't use it for very long. Oh, these cutouts are no, these are good. I like these. Good stuff, Film Cut. Good. Make sure this lines up. Oh, sick. Oh, that's awesome. Yep. Good, good, good. Goes right around. Oh, heck yeah. See, this one would be really tedious to hand cut, just like the Wranglers. They took a lot of inspiration from Wranglers on this one, for sure. Hey, looks like we successfully shrunk it too. That's what I was hoping for. Really not that much to shrink, just a good snap. Make that part a little bit bigger on that cut. And then we should be good. Make a diagonal bracing to stiff your cutting board. Yeah. Self-tapping screws, cheap thin steel or aluminum tubing. Ooh, that's not a bad idea, because that was the only thing I was trying to figure out. It was like, how am I going to make the braces? I guess they'll screw straight in. That's definitely a possibility. One thing I was going to change on this next one was I was probably going to do, so they sell it in 20 by 20, 40 by 20, and so I was going to change the main frame from the 20 by 20, and then so I wanted to see what the 20 by 20 was like, and it's very flimsy. When you put that much weight on it, it's flimsy. So I had some spare 40 by 20, and I used it to help beef it up to a certain point. So it's kind of like a Band-Aid fix right now. So I was gonna take a step back and rebuild another one and change out a couple things, and I'm kind of working out in my head what I want to change. So for this one, I might just do that. I might just go get some tubing, some screws, and bam. But I also like the real small footprint of it, where there's no like tripping hazards from it. I want wheels on it, but one thing I didn't even think of is like, oh, anytime you put like wheels on those feet, so see those feet? Anytime you put like wheels on that, like, I'd prefer to be able to move it around a little bit better, but I'm definitely gonna trip over it from time to time, and especially when we have a class, other people will too as well. So it's sitting low to the ground like that makes it a little more annoying to move, but if we don't have to move it very much, hey, it's actually not bad. It's easy to pick up and kind of like swing around where you need it to go, but less convenient than wheels. But yeah, I think I got 72-inch 20 by 20 tubing. Then I got like 39-inch 20 by 40, or not tubing. It's called like aluminum extruded channel or something like that. Aluminum extrusion. Sweet. Well, this worked out. That all laid in there perfectly. So we got the back all set now. So now all we got to do is worry about the windshield. That'll be fun. It's not going to be fun with a 50-inch roll. Oops. I wish we had a short one. It'd be fine if I had a 24-inch short roll. I don't. I got a big old roll. So we're going to have a little bit of waste on this one. Okay. Hey, Jack. You want to hop in on the other side here? I just need this help placed on the windshield. Don't close the doors, though. And just be careful about the frames. Catch it. All right, now if you can use your hand and just like swipe it kind of in the center and get it to stick. Good. That helps. Don't fall, don't fall. And just make sure it's not gonna fall. There we go. Okay. Super duper. Sweet. That should work. Thank you. Fun. Not a hard windshield to do. It's just really awkward to get to. There's too much Bronco in the way. I like the shorts, thanks. How much do you charge for dyed film versus carbon? It's not a huge difference. So this in dyed with the windshield would be $450. With carbon, it's $550. On a regular car, it's $290. And then with carbon, it's $350. So there's not a huge jump in price to go from dyed to carbon. But on average, like, you might start your starting price a little bit lower So it was really common for me to see like 250 starting, 350 for carbon, 450 for ceramic. That was very normal. I just found that I'm spending a lot of time, no matter what kind of car I have. So I just ended up upping my very beginning price because I would either stream it, make a video, that kind of stuff. So I was looking to get a little bit more for the time for anybody that was just getting the standard. But I left the carbon price where it was at. And what you'll find too is a lot of people end up like shooting for the middle anyways. What type? Honestly, carbon and ceramic more than dyed, but it comes and goes. So like, there's honestly some waves where I'll have a bunch of pro classic jobs and some waves where I'll have a lot more ceramic jobs. So it really just depends, but across the board, it's a lot more carbon and ceramic. But when I first opened up, it was consistently a lot of pro classic. So I worked, the shop was new. Nobody knew who I was. And then with just like general marketing, video, stuff like that, people start learning about the differences and put out good work. You attract good customers. Is only having carbon and ceramic a bad idea? I'd say it's not great, but it depends on where you are. But what I would do is I would still have 3 lines of film. You're just going to want to have your entry be carbon, your mid-grade be a ceramic, and then your top tier be a dual layer ceramic. So you always keep that nice, consistent 3-tier system. But like, the way to look at this too is like there's only so many real benefits. So I could choose to do a cheaper film with a lesser warranty and say like, hey, this film has a 1-year warranty. I don't really like that, especially because so many people say like, we'll shoot out a price of like $100 and say lifetime warranty. So it's hard to compete on warranty. But you really want to look at your whole lineup with clear benefits as to why you would upgrade. So let's say you were going to get like an iPad. iPad's going to have clear things. Like they're all iPads. Are they bad? No, none of them are bad. They're all good. So like what makes a more expensive iPad better? Well, you got screen size, you have storage space, and you have like processor speed. So they have little things that it's like, oh, I'm in this price range right now, but oh, if I get this one, then I only get a little bit of storage. Or if I get this slightly more expensive model, I'll get more storage. Or I can add more storage to this one. There's always those little things that'll eke you up into the next tier. So like when you're structured, like it's just a smart way of doing your business is like having clear value reasons why somebody would want to upgrade. And it honestly just happens with carbon that it's like right in the middle. All my films have lifetime warranty. They're all nice films. I stand behind every one of them. You're going to get a good tint job with any one of those films. Main differentiator is going to be heat. That honestly is not the biggest priority for every single person that walks in my door. I'm in Michigan. It's frozen half the year. So when you start with carbon, you're starting with like basically 50% heat rejection and like already a really solid film. And like that's fine as long as whatever your pricing is makes sense across the board. So there's things you're going to have to do to be competitive, And there's things that you're gonna have to do to just give your business the best chance of winning. So another differentiator too is shades. So interestingly enough, I actually don't have 15% in Pro Classic. I only have that in my Carbon. I don't even have that in Pro Nano. But if I brought in Apex or Carbon Plus, then I could have those like split shades. So there's reasons too, like, you know, offer a limited amount of shades in your base, and then the higher up you go, the more shades that you have. So when you get into that, like, oh, hey, I really want to get a 15% like this one, we upgraded to Carbon. And you'll see that with every company. I mean, my decking company just did that. We had a deck built for the house, and it's like, oh, we have 3 color options in our base one. We have this mid-tier with a bunch of color options, and we have like this super premium. And it's like, at the end of the day, you're getting like a nice composite deck. So like, really, how different are they? They're not. But you need to think of, like, when people are coming in and you're trying to sell them, like trying to explain the different options and stuff. Like, just keep some of that stuff in mind. Because when you go shopping, you're shopping the exact same way your customers are. You're weighing your options, you're seeing how expensive the service is, and then what you get for your money. So if you're just like, hey, I start with Carbon, it's a great film, blocks some heat, cool. Well, I don't really feel like I even need to upgrade to your ceramic then, because I wasn't really interested in the heat rejection anyways. Whereas, like me, my dyed film and my Carbon are priced similarly enough to where it's like, even if you weren't that interested, it's not much of a jump to then go to the mid-tier. But you should have just real clear, defined reasons why one film is better than the next, why somebody would want to jump up into that one, and then try not to over-explain it like I tend to do. Keep things simple. All right, so let's get rid of this. All right, a little more shrinking, and then we'll be ready to clean and install this. Looking to get into tinting, wanting to find, but still in the process of looking for a supplier. A few good ones. You can order 313tint.com. It's a good way to get GeoShield film if you're interested in that. Sun Distributing. Tint Depot, they have their high-tech brand. Those are like some of the easiest good films to get into. All right, cool. Actually, I don't even think we have to shrink this anymore. I think I'm gonna roll this up on the board. Oh my God. It's just kind of annoying. Yeah, there's a handful of really good suppliers now that are not hard to get. For a long time, you had like your big tier films. But when you dive into manufacturing, it's when you realize that they're not much different. Yeah, we're definitely going to reverse roll it. I'm going to do it right off my board. Not that I can't do it on that windshield. It's just going to be far easier to not do it on the windshield. That's a 50. 50%. Is Lexan a no-go? I can't make that decision for you. I'm not a huge fan. If you get anything from them, their Pure Max is the one you want to get. Everything else comes with like some type of compromise until you get up into their better ceramic, which then it's $400 a roll, and that's like that's on par with like everybody else's ceramic. So but get it, play around with it, see how you like it. I don't dog on a film just to do it. I just saw a lot of people start with them and have a very difficult time learning. And so like for door windows, no problem. But their cheaper carbon has haze issues. The Pure Max is a lot better. So I had a student here who bought like a full lineup of Lexan, but he bought their HSA carbon, and that's the bad one. But everybody said Lexan, 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 and he had no idea. So that's why it's hard to talk about them. All right. Yep, definitely harder to shrink. Anybody that I've had here is a student. You can see that firsthand. We learn on Geo. Like this last class, we learned on C2 carbon the whole class. One before that, we had some Pro Nano ceramic. It was awesome. What do you think? How's that? Should be pretty good. How was mobile? Overall, it was good, just tiring. You get tired of running around all over the place. So it got better when I could count on being at one place for the day. Because there was a long time where I would go to 4 or 5 shops in a day. You go here, tend a set of doors, run over there, do a full car, run to this store, and there was like anywhere from like 20, so they'd try and keep us in an area, but sometimes you'd ride out to somewhere for 2 doors, and then you go somewhere else for like a full car, and then you have to go back 45 minutes to then finish up the day with another set of doors. Kind of annoying. Where's the head cam? I don't know. Working on it. I've tried like 60 different things and it's been a pain. I'm changing it up a little bit because I'm trying to combine YouTube and TikTok together right now, which is kind of ironic because I'm not actually streaming on TikTok right now. TikTok's a lot of work. I think I have to go back to my GoPro 8 in order to make it work now, but that comes with some hang-ups. Like I don't have any good answers right now. It kind of sucks. I'd just go live on TikTok and I'd have anywhere from like 3,000 to 8,000 people watching. And I'm like, oh, I should probably do this more. But I have to do it on like a phone or a tablet. They don't like the GoPro. Where I know like YouTube, you guys are good with the GoPro, but trying to combine both together has been an enormous pain in the ass. It's just, no matter what I do, it's like there's hang-ups on every angle of it. So, I'm working on it. Just getting a little spent. So I have a GoPro 10. I thought what I'd be able to do was do the head cam, but GoPro suffers from overheating. If you stream longer than like 20 minutes, it starts overheating. Stupid. Alright, I'll be back there in a sec. I gotta get this pattern. So I even like attached heat sinks to it. I had like 50 clever ideas. and until they like put out a new model, what is it, October? No, it's August. October they'll put out a new model again. September or October is usually when they announce a new one. And then I'll probably buy it and try it out and then see. But I don't have high hopes that they actually fixed anything. They're making like minor adjustments to it. My current job, I make $250 a day. Figured I can make more than that tinting. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna take a little bit to get there, but generally, like more common around here was like $250 for a full car. And then you have people that are all over the place. You have people that are at like, you know, 150, you have people that are at 350. 250 I know is like really common. So like hitting above 220 isn't hard when you start tinting multiple cars. Or you land like, you know, you just do something with a full windshield. That's also a really important one. Full windshields are really good. I'm in Nashville, prices on everything is going up. Nashville's a good place to be, yeah. Cities with just like bigger populations are always going to give you an advantage. Sorry, I'll be there with the windshield in just a minute. It was nice to see you when you cut by hand. I cut this whole windshield by hand. We still do. It's not changed. I just have a peel board, and this is a windshield that I'm honestly glad I have a peel board for. What's up? Tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's all good. We're good.
Yep, I have it marked on the calendar for him, so.
Say it again? Yeah, we got it marked down, so we're good. Okay, yep, no problem, man. See you tomorrow. Yep, you too. Bye.
It's not a big windshield. It's just awkward one. I probably should have just peeled it. I'm not even reverse rolling this thing. Adding more steps. Yeah, dude, I should have carried this in. For real. That. Let's get under here. Oh, come on. Just get that smidge. Good, good, good. Yeah, I don't like peeling off of a glass board. It's not as fun. See part of the group about Corvette's dashboard leather lifting when windshield's being tinted. Yeah, I've never seen that one before. I suppose it's always like you never know when you're gonna run into something like that, but there's usually little signs that you might have a problem with something. That being said, I've hardly ever tinted a vet windshield, but that thing peeled up like crazy. You're not gonna have that in the vast majority of windshields. The only other time I've ever seen that was a Grand Cherokee. There's actually a manufacturer's defect with the material that they were using. So that ended up getting replaced in most cases by the dealers, thankfully, because that's like the last thing that you want to worry about. But we're spraying lots of water. You want to make sure everything's covered up. As long as you do that, in most cases, you're going to be fine. Just always err on the side of caution with that stuff, though. But if it was a problem every day, you would see pictures about it every day, and then people wouldn't be doing windshields. It's too much of a risk in that point. But as long as you use like I said, as long as you're kind of generally aware and you're careful, you don't run into that. Yeah, super weird that it even did that, though. That's like one of those dumb cost of business things. They do happen. You're like, hey, I was tinting this and it broke. It's like, well, people tell you there's a cost. There's always a cost to doing business. It's like you have those unforeseen things that shouldn't have been a problem, and then all of a sudden it's a nightmare. That's where it is. So, be safe. But that's where I talk a lot about your pricing too, is like, you need to have your pricing in a way that you're like prepared for that. Like, yeah, get business insurance, but then you use it and then your insurance goes up. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. Like, you're not just making a good margin on what you're doing and then doing nothing with that margin. It's like you're always there's always things to throw back into your business and extra expenses that you didn't foresee, all that kinds of shit. That's just how it goes. Accidents happen, mistakes happen. You have to be prepared for that. So what I find, like, I get it, but there's some people, they outright turn away every windshield because they're worried about damaging. Like, sure, on a particular car, fine. But if you turn around every windshield, I'd be losing so much money on not doing windshields that, like, yeah, when you if you do have a problem and like a car freaks out on you and then you have to get a module replaced and that costs you like even $2,000, it's like, how many windshields did you tint? And how much money would you have lost if you didn't do windshields? That's what you realistically have to weigh in your head. And people are very like risk adverse, and I get it. I was that way too for a time. But it's like, oh, even if I have a problem, I should be able to have the time and the money to be able to fix it and then continue making money. And it's unfortunately just a cost of doing business. So, but with enough like general safety precautions, the amount of times that you're actually going to have some type of problem is like super minimal. Much better. Looks good. I like it. Is tinting windows harder than it looks? Yeah, I think so. It's really about learning like all the finicky little steps, and then once you learn all the finicky little steps, then you're a lot better. I think it looks a lot simpler, but there's always like little things in like the way that you hold the film, how much pressure you apply when you're like moving it around. It's like there's no set rules to it, but it's just the more you do it, the more that kind of stuff happens where you kind of like, oh, I was just like, I wasn't like folding my film correctly enough to get it into the sides. Oh, this was a hybrid. This other one's a Blue Max one. So there's good and bad, for sure. There's some days I'm still like, why do I do this? You always have those days where you're like, I want to be sitting down in a chair somewhere. Do I have to get up and work? But it you know, keeps you on your toes. Recommended film for practicing. I recommend this one. T-View on Amazon for like $100 is really a solid bet. Because you don't have to throw away a lot of money on practice film. And you will, like, you just have to accept, I'm going to waste money learning how to do this. So when you accept that you're going to waste money doing it, T-View is not a bad option to waste money doing it with. I see some people, they're like, hey, I'm going to get carbon or ceramic as my beginner film. And it's like, boy, that's fine. Just like, be prepared to throw some of that away. You don't have to type it more than once. Jesus, that's like a whole bunch. Is it important to use a handled squeegee? I think they're the best, but there's some options. Yeah, can we have like 1 or 2 comments for like question? Don't blow up the chat with questions like that. You can ask whatever you need, just don't like repeat it 50 times. Alright, I'm sorry. Not really. Oh, I gotta do it from the computer. Sorry, not sorry. They like say it's so nice. Put user in timeout. Yeah, I don't mind people asking questions. This is the whole point of this. But the questions don't revolve around... just don't make it 100 of the same thing. Cool. Yeah, Wagner's definitely my favorite budget heat gun. I have like a $180 heat gun. I've got a $300 heat gun. I have the Porter cables, which are like $45. I've tried a lot of different ones. I think Wagner is probably going to be the best bang for your buck. And like when you get into the more expensive ones, like anywhere from 80, like 50 and to like $180 really, you're not really getting a better heat gun. You're getting features that you're not going to use. They're not harder, they're not hotter, they're not necessarily better made. They're just like, they're just an alternative. So I've spent that much. I've bought a bunch of like $80 Wagner ones too, and they ended up like failing quicker than this $30 one now. This $30 one used to be $20. Inflation. It's hit the heat guns. Having trouble with getting customers. Have a lot of competition with low prices, but don't feel like lowering my prices that much. Yeah, I can totally get that. Then you have to sell your value, and that comes with looking very different than your competition. That's why competition is like a good thing and also a difficult thing. So you have to figure out ways that you can stand out from your competition on top of just being a, you know, that's not just a price. So a big thing too is like standing out in certain ways too, like having a nice website, funneling traffic to it. That's usually like not a bad bet too. Targeting certain demographics, like all that matters is like there's the business that you're getting from like sheer phone calls and stuff. And that's honestly my least favorite. I hate I hate selling over the phone. Like if you're interested in getting a tint job here, sure, call away, I don't care. And then obviously we're gonna get phone calls still from people that are just shopping around. But that's kind of the worst for me because there's no good thing that I can say over the phone except like trying to talk you up into coming here. It's like there's nothing that you can see. You just hear me. A lot of people are just asking for a price. I think that's the worst. So there's a software called Tint Wiz. They have this nifty feature called proposals, and that's a good way to kind of explain your business. So one thing that you can do is when you take a phone call and you give a price and they go, okay, thanks, and then they hang up. Like, oh, you're too expensive or whatever. Well, they don't know your business compared to anybody else's. But what you can do is you can send them a proposal as a follow-up about your phone call. And you're definitely not going to land every one of them, but it definitely increases your odds because nobody else is going to do that. So, like, there's always creative things that you can do to try and maximize any leads that are already coming in over the phone. But when you message people with like a proposal or like something that they can actually see, oh, it's so much better. It's like people are very visual. So when like, if you have a nice looking place, you can't see that over the phone. You see that in a picture. When you do nice cars, you see that through video or you see that through pictures again. You don't get that over the phone. So like what somebody just shopping over the phone is looking for is they're looking for a good place to go to, but that's also going to be in the range of like what is something that is the most affordable and also the most convenient. But if you can stand out in another way, well then you're just going to get more business. So that's why I'm a big fan of using something like that. And it definitely can help. You always have to think of creative ways to stand out on top of what everybody else is doing. There's always other stuff. You just have to like really think hard to figure that kind of stuff out. Because it's easy to see what everybody else is doing and do that. But then inevitably somebody figures something else out and all of a sudden that becomes the new cool thing to do. And then people catch on, everybody starts doing it. You guys see that TikTok NPC trend? Everybody started jumping on board with that, and all of a sudden it's not cool anymore. That's how these things go. All right. So, we gotta put the mirror back on, but we're pretty much all buttoned up with this one. What's the most common roll size? Most common that I use are going to be like 36 and 24s. 36 are going to cover, or 36 are going to cover every back window, almost every back window. Not every back window, but almost. And they're also going to cover almost every windshield. And you can split them in half and do side doors on sedans and some trucks. But for windows that are like in this size, like I used a 40 and I cut it in half. So basically I could use like a 20-inch roll to cover this, or you could use a 24 to cover the same thing. On F-150s and bigger trucks, you're going to need 24-inch rolls. So you're going to have like your short roll size, which is, 24 is going to cover everything. And then you're going to have your longer roll size, which is going to be 36 or 40. So 36 is going to cover damn near everything. What was the brand of practice film that you said? I'll show it to you. I got a roll sitting here. That's how I know it's actually good to practice with. So this. I just wouldn't leave cheap dyed film. It's T-view. I just wouldn't put cheap dyed film on customers' cars. Not unless it was like, a cheap job and they're for like a friend or something. Like he's like, hey, that looks good. Okay, cool. Then in that case, whatever. But when you're trying to build a business, you got to think, like, it's tough, but you got to think at least like 5 years out on this. Like, what I put on a car today, 5 years from now, is it still going to hold up? And if you sell it on a short warranty, then it doesn't matter. But if you're like, this has a lifetime warranty, and the film costs you like $100, is it going to last? Probably not. And so then if you told customers that it's going to last, well, people are going to start coming back with problems, and you're going to develop a bad reputation over 5 years. But if you stick with a good product, you're not going to have those types of problems. You doing any more cars today? I don't think so. I think this is all today. I have 2 planned for tomorrow. We got 2 planned for Friday, 2 planned for Saturday, I think. I don't know. It's just been busy. I'm having a hard time keeping up with like everything else. That's been my biggest headache. Is that dirt? Oh shit. No, that's dirt. Oh, I gotta redo that one. Okay. I guess hang tight, we got one more window. This side looks good. The other side looks like, it's hard to see with the factory. But I caught it, damn it. Alright. Well, this is good. Now I have an exact pattern. Cut, Lord. Did that bring in dirt when it's brand new? That's exactly how they all do. Doesn't matter if it's new or old, you'll always pull in dirt. If, like, so it was bunching up towards the ends and I was able to like trim it off, but those edges have like a sticky butyl to it. I don't know. It should be like a urethane. It might be, but it's definitely a little like spongy. So that's how that kind of stuff goes. Oh, did this go to sleep? Let's wake it back up. Just when you thought it was over. I know it. But I got some extra rolls here, so like maybe one of these will fit. I hope. So this, sticky side. I just need the pattern to be more exact. It was definitely not exact. So I'm going to use what I had, and I'm going to make an exact template, and hopefully it'll be good. But I'm glad everything else is done. Then I can take my sweet time with this one. Can you tint with visors? You can. But if they're in-channel visors, I suggest removing them if they get in your way. So around here anyways, a lot of the visors... There we go. Oh, now it thinks that's the top. That's fun. All right, there we go. What was I saying? So a lot of the visors around here now are going to be like WeatherTech's. WeatherTech has good visors. They come out fairly easy without breaking. If it feels like it's been on there for a year or so, though, I'd just try and leave them alone then. Other brands will definitely like shatter. So, it's just one of those things. Let me grab a light. There we go. Now I can see the dots. I'm going to trim right to the dots. Which I hope. I hope those are the right dots that I'm sticking it to. I guess we'll find out. All right. So hopefully I didn't trim it too shy now. I guess we'll find out. Famous last words. How much is just the rear windshield? On a regular car, it's typically like 120 or 150. Windshields I start at 150. safe. I don't like not being able to see my edges very well. That gets annoying. I feel like I should have had a brighter light for this back window. Probably would have made that a little bit easier. But I try not to cut on the glass when I can. Alright, we're gonna step up here. Swing over here. Wow. Well, it's not too short. I think it's slightly big in a couple corners. But that's way better than it was. I started to like freak myself out that I was making this too short. But it's like perfect. Nice. Good, looking good. Oh no, there we go. That went down. Sweet. Nice. Fuck. Not nice. Yeah. Again. This is where shit goes bad. Hang on. Got one more. All right, one more. Whoop, whoop. Don't fall, please. That'd be bad. Last. Okay, so which way am I facing? Alright, this can be slightly bigger. But the center can be spot on to where it was. That, and then one more. Third time. Let's go. Woo. Love that view. Such a good view. All right, one more time. It's like you don't know the area that's just gonna bump up a little bit. Oh my God, not again, not again. It's a smidge. It's just a smidge. All right, I'm gonna let this dry. Everything is good, just that little bit. sometimes you can just like trim it, and then sometimes if it butts up against a rubber edge, you're not trimming it. Oh, take it out. There we go. Cool. Fun. That was not fun. No space. A little corner. Oh, much better. Super fun. Yeah, it's just that very corner. Starting to bump into the trim, which is like overlapped on the quarter. So heat it up, tightens the whole space up, and then you can get it to press down. So the more those dots dry out, it's gonna seam up really nice. Good God, that was annoying. But doing, whenever you get those like little rubber trims all the way around the window, trim out what you can, but on that, it's like the framing is also like butt up against it too. So it's just not fun. The other side gave me plenty of space, but on passenger side, way less space to work with. When do you use a felt card versus a squeegee? So oh, looks like my chat hasn't been working here for a minute. When did that happen? Ever since my software decided, hey, you're not using it, you should sign out now, even though I'm right in the middle of using it? Hang on. Now I have to click on CAPTCHA, cuz. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's goofy. For whatever reason, my software wasn't connected anymore. Is your warranty based off the film you install? It's going to be like your manufacturer. So I go by what they say for the film, and just any decent quality film now is going to be sold with a lifetime warranty. So, but if something happens to that film that is not wear and tear, you know, he's driving around and then the windows bubble up. That's definitely a warrantyable issue. And so you're going to contact your film provider, and then they're going to make sure everything's taken care of. but check with them to figure out what terms that they cover. Yeah, just when you thought it was over. I bet it's nice making your own schedule. It is nice. Yeah, I used to tint for a lot of shops. And I never got to make my own schedule. Now I get to do things the way I want. So that's generally spending a frustrating amount of time on a Bronco. It is what it is. But should be good. Probably just needs a little bit more dry time even from now. I'm going to check it really quick. But oh no, that's way better. Yep. Little fingers will dry out. These hold a lot of water. These like fine dot matrix borders, especially on Fords, they'll hold a lot of water, and until it's like completely dry, it'll just sit there like that. So it just will take some time to completely dry out. But it's a lot better. Because I go back and forth. Either there's like a very small light gap there, which is a big no-no for me, or I spend a stupid amount of time making sure that one's lined up. The easier it is to see, though, the better you can make that cut, so. Anyways, that is what it is. Sweet. Well, this one's all set. Yeah, all the doors are done. So we just gotta pop the latch on this one, and then we can close this up. I'm about to put some like glue on the bottom of that so it never turns again. But yeah, all this, very nice. No overlaps, everything's seamed down. Windshield's good. Gotta put the mirror back on. I guess we can do that now real quick. Good Ford mirrors. See, they put little screws on the Ford mirrors on a lot of them now. They caught up with the times. Okay. So we can lower that. Make sure we get his key. Door latch is open. Sweet. Looking good. Well, usually those go a little bit easier than that. Everything else went pretty good. This is that rear quarter that we got stuck on for a long time. But it happens. You learn. Let's close this all up. I'm going to go back over it and wipe it all down, but just before we sign off here, you can see what this thing looks like, all buttoned up while it's in the shop this way. So that is going to be 5 on the rear now. So we did 20 over the factory, then we did 15 on the front, and then we did 50 on that windshield. Turned out very nice. Broncos are just a little awkward. Wish I had a little bit more space around that quarter window. The other one was fine. No complaints about the other one. But there you go. Looks good. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to hop off here. Got some other stuff to do. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate ya. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.